Emmet, why is your laptop closed? Are you trying to hide something from us? What are you looking up on your internet history here? Because it's been closed the whole time.
Well,
are you trying to hide your predictions from us?
No, not at all.
Let's get into those.
Happy to discuss.
Okay, let's get into some players to look out for this season. I'll say, who are we looking for? A lot of people are anticipating the three of the, elderly players. We've already spoken about those, but who else are we looking at? Rettigi's gone from Atalanta. I think Scamacca might be one to look out for. He might be back with a bit of greatness up forward.
Well, it'd be interesting to see how he recovers from his, he literally did not kick a ball all of last season. So it'd be interesting to see if he recovers and how he recovers, because a lot of players don't return the same after tearing their cruciate ligament. So, but if he is the Scamacca of old, he will be a worthy replacement for Rettigi.
Dan, who's a player to look out for?
I'm going to butcher his name, no doubt, but I'm going for Jansari, the new Milan.
Jansari,
yeah, the new Milan signing. For two reasons. First of all, because Milan have not had a proper commanding midfielder in a long time. And the second is because I'm really curious to see how he's going to develop under Allegri. Milan have made a song and a dance about going after him. Club Brugge wanted a certain amount of money. Milan stood their ground. You're going to give them credit for that, I suppose. But I do wonder whether this is a typical case of having expectations that are far too high for the player who hasn't really shown much.
De Ketelaere style, isn't it?
That's what I was going to say. Remember
really
De Ketelaere.
like
and there is the fact that he himself has pushed back on the Ketelaere's comparison, said, we are the only similarity between the two of us is that we're both Belgian.
And they've come to the same path.
Except for the same club, yeah. And you've started to level up a lot
and
of...
same fee.
Yeah. A lot of the...
Same school bags.
A lot of the sort of football cognoscenti in Italy, like the likes of Arrigosaki and Capello, are again banging the same drum, going, they're not similar at all. They're very different. But, sure, it might turn out to be the next Reinders, might go to City in 2 seasons for 16.
Milan fans will tell you he's there to learn from the master himself, Luka Modric.
But Milan don't have time to learn. Milan need to get back into the top 4.
Yeah, but they don't have any commitments. All they've got is one subject at school this season, maybe 2 if you want to count Coppa Italia, but still, they don't have any obligations. They're there to reset, recalibrate under Allegri. And I think that's what they're going to do. Modric is there to teach.
I think they'll improve. It's hard to do worse than a team managed by Paulo Fonseca, but...
Allegri we're talking earlier about coaches' points and Conte and Spalletti. Allegri will give Milan at least 10, 12 points.
I agree. I completely
playing Allegri ball.
Yeah, it won't be pretty, but it'll be effective.
But the thing is, Milan haven't played good football in about, 10 years.
Yeah.
My only concern with Allegri...
Tonali Giroud was decent when they won. But anyway, go on, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, it's an anomaly, yes.
Yeah. My only concern with Allegri is that I think we are sort of shifting towards an area where, Allegri is back, Milan are back. Allegri doesn't have Ibrahimovic anymore. He doesn't have, the players he had at the time. He's got a very different group of players. And I think we've seen the Juventus. I don't think Allegri is going to tolerate some of the shenanigans that went on last season.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Namely with Rafa Leao and stuff like that.
And Theo Hernandez.
Yeah. But going back to your original question, I'm looking forward to seeing him. I think Jansari will be, if it's the ground running, which there is no reason to doubt that, I think it could be a really good signing. I've not seen much of him. I don't watch the Belgian league. I don't know about whether you two do.
No.
But every now and then, highlights packages. It's too much football.
Too much.
Stick in my lane. But Emmet, I'm going to give you the option to mention a player. Is it Jonathan David by any chance? Who is it?
It's actually Bernadeschi.
Okay, well, the show's over.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing Kenan Yildiz, because I think this will be a season where he finally has to step up. For the last year and a half, he's been potential at Juve.
It's hot and cold.
And now it's like, this team is going to be built around you. You have to now step up. You're 20, 21, whatever it is.
Massive preseason.
Yeah, it's like you can no longer be the kid with potential. It's now your time to shine.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on.
Is it the boy becomes a man situation?
Exactly.
I'm going to say, we saw him last year in Serie B at Spezia, Francesco Pio Esposito. If Inter hold on to him and make him their 4th striker, and because they're going to try and fight on 3 or 4 fronts, he will get some game time, and he has been lethal in the preseason. That could be exciting as well. So, and that is the development phase to come through the lower leagues, get your chance with the Italian under-20 side, under-21s, and now he's going back to the parent club, which is Inter. Let's just go back to
I tell you what, sorry, before. I'm looking forward to see Tremoni as well at Pisa to see how he does in Serie A, because he was brilliant last season. Pisa are very much known quantity. I mean, Gilardino, don't know, he made a really good start at Life Genoa last season, were weak.
And you wrote an article on him, and then
Yes, and I jinxed him. Thanks for bringing that up.
he's back now. Don't write on him this season.
I did it. That's what I said. I said, I don't know what you're going to get from them. But also, sorry, while we're on top of... no, actually, I'll save it for later. Go ahead.
Okay, so while we're on this topic, Pisa and Cremonese with Sassuolo. We've spoken about Sassuolo already. Pisa and Cremonese, is it just tick the box, they're going back down? What's happening? I love Pisa's shirt, by the way.
Yeah.
Lovely home shirt. Is it a repeat from when they were last in Serie A all those moons ago?
You would hope not to, because I think it's always... The league needs teams to come up to stay up. But it's hard, isn't it? When you come up and both your managers prefer to stay in Serie B to have another tilt promotion. I think that...
Yeah.
I've seen Super People stay down.
And Giovanni Stroppa as well.
He knows his limitations.
I think that says a lot about the challenge they face. Because like Pisa have got... The club have got in sort of pockets deep enough, you will think, to make enough signings, but Cremonese, they're operating on a shoestring budget.
I think Cremonese are straight back down.
They've kept a lot of their squad. They have boosted a little here and there, so it's going
They
to be
signed
interesting.
Van der Putte permanently and Fulignati permanently as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, Fulignati, did they sign him and then
Did they sign
loan him out again? Because they've got Aldero now as well.
Okay.
They signed Fulignati permanently, but I think they had to buy him for the obligation.
Okay.
And I think now they've loaned him to Empoli.
Yeah.
So he's going to be in Serie B again. But with that, they've got Emil Aldero in, and it was only the last 2 or 3 days. So it's going to be interesting to see the dynamic there. But they do have a lot of their side from Serie B, and even Franco Vasquez is still there. He re-signed with them. He was out of contract, now he's back. So we're going to see how they can at least stabilize themselves. They weren't too bad when they were up. It was the year that Napoli won in 2022-23. We were at that game, Cremonese Napoli, and they looked okay for large parts of the game. And I think their side might be stronger now than what it was back then, but it's going to be very tough. Pisa, for me, I had to commentate one of their preseason matches against Bayer Leverkusen. They were not in the game at all, and the only glimpses that they showed was Tramoni, as you were talking about. But they have signed big Mbala and Zoli's back in Serie A this season, so we're going to see how they go. But they are favourites to go back down, let's be honest. Just going back to what you were saying about Allegri, let's talk about Ranieri's gone, but Gasperini is in at Roma. Chances, just quickly on these chances.
Chances of it going spectacularly sideways? Very high, I would
People are
imagine.
trying to compare Gasperini's stint at Inter, which was many, many years ago, to this.
Nah, it's
completely different.
Apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Inter were still in the throes of the treble. Like, it was a year after. There was a lot of older, experienced players still hanging around, like Materazzi. They didn't want to play in the 3-man back line. At Roma, most of them are young. Gasperini's stock is a lot higher now than it was then.
Yeah.
So it's not a similar
He
situation.
had banter years in Milan, didn't he? And now what he's done in Bergamo, I don't think anyone else could have done that. And even the great Christian Vieri said that to us when we spoke to him last year.
Yeah.
A lot of people now respect Gasperini. He's an elite coach.
Yeah.
And
But by the
if there
same
was
token, you can't expect him to replicate that in Rome.
does he have a stronger squad?
No, he's not. He's not happy with the squad.
Retiki gone.
Yeah. But I don't...
Now,
I mean,
now at Roma,
he's complained that the club haven't made enough signings. And I do think, even if they do make signings, it takes a while to get into his system.
Exactly.
So I think if they give him, he has a 3-year contract, I don't think you can expect too much in the first year.
But he's gone to a club that traditionally play a similar formation. They love the 3-man back line, even under Mourinho, even though Mourinho was dire to watch there.
The thing, I don't think it's a tactical issue in Rome. I think it's the pressure. The pressure he's going to have to face is immense, because Bergamo was a free hit. Let's be honest. Atalanta are been probably the best stories about Italian football in the last 10 years. But it's a free hit. You know, you finish in the Champions League, great. You don't. Nobody really cares outside of Bergamo.
Yeah.
In Rome,
the pressure's insane.
pressure is immense.
It is. It's massive, and I mean, it's such a wonderful stadium to watch football in. And if you haven't gone to have a look at our Stadium Guide series, go and have a look at that when you finish watching this pod. But that is on destination.calcio.com. And I think a big loss is Shomurodov because he filled in with a few goals. He's gone. But they have replenished. Tammy Abraham is no longer with them. He's also gone to Turkey along with Shomurodov.
How well will they cope without him?
But they have cleared a lot of dead wood. They signed Lefebvre back a couple of years ago, and he ended up at Sunderland. He's gone now.
Yeah.
Zalewski, the Inter transfer, now he's gone to Atalanta, so
Yeah.
we're going to see how that goes. But Wesley, big raps on him after the FIFA Club World Cup. They got him, Elenoe, and Manu Kone and Evan Ferguson, the Irish striker.
Yeah.
Emmet. We're going to have to get you to interview him so you can understand each other.
Well, he's from the south, I'm from the north. Accents are different, but I'll give it a go.
They've signed
Well,
Leon
we'll
Bailey.
sort it out.
They've signed Leon Bailey as well from Aston Villa. I think it's a good signing.
Yeah.
Is that definite?
Yeah. We went through today. As a smart bit of business.
And we
He
can't
is actually-
underestimate Daniele Gilardi is there at the back now as well.
He's Bailey, I think he could be a very Gasperini player. But the problem with Roma is and I've been saying this since, I feel like been saying this since the days of Montella and Batistuta. Who's scoring the goals?
Yeah, because he wants rid of Dubbick.
Yeah,
He
'cause
doesn't
he's-
want them. They're
No.
openly shopping him around because
Of
he's not a
course.
Gasperini
Nowhere
striker.
near.
And it's also interesting
Dybala.
because when they signed Wesley, Gasperini was asked about him and he was like, I didn't really have too much to do with it.
No,
He
exactly.
was someone the club looked at. So is Gasperini having much of a say on transfers?
Yeah.
Because he likes players to buy into his system, the high press, constantly press, and it's I don't know.
Gasperini isn't a manager who manages players that have not been signed by him. You need
he wants
Yeah.
authority, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And also, against this backdrop, I think it's also important to know that this is the first season that the Friedkins have controlled both of Roma and Everton. It's Everton's first full season under the Friedkins, and David Moyes has been quite vocal about how disappointed the summer transfer window has been, and Gasperini has been saying the same thing. So that's now two managers saying the same thing about the same ownership group. Might be a coincidence, but I wouldn't be surprised if everything goes sideways at Roma. I hope it doesn't, because you want Roma to do well. You want a team from Rome to do well. You want Gasperini to, we all know the football these teams can play, but I think it's such a high expectation on him. It's hard for him.
There are. And he's in Rome, and Lazio supporters will be hoping that it goes sideways. And just moving on back to, we spoke about Roma. Now, Lazio and Sarri. Emmet, what is this? Is it just a remix of something we've seen before?
Yeah, it's definitely reheated soup. Obviously, Sarri's back. Does it?
Sarri is back.
Does the soup taste, as good the second time around? Lazio have an embargo, a transfer embargo. They can't sign anybody to January. It's the same squad as last season. Obviously, Sarri's come back. His relationship with Latito was touchy at best. I mean, Lazio were okay last season. In parts, they were decent.
I'm still trying to figure out why they got rid of Baroni, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all about the optics, wasn't it? They were supposed to be in European competition. They didn't make it on the last day.
That's okay. But as Emma's saying, it's turning back to Sarri, a manager that Sarri left last year to begin with because he had had enough of Lotito and of the way the club was run.
Yeah.
Even though Lotito then trying to blame to someone else and someone within the executive that stabbed Sarri in the back.
It's amazing to me they didn't hold on to. They had out on loan last season, Juve Stabia, Floriano Mussolini, and it was amazing to me they didn't want to keep him because he had a great season. He's off to Cremonese this year. We're going to see how he flourishes there, but there's no real movement to talk about, speak to of Lazio, and their momentum is kind of they're just sort of traveling along, going under the radar.
Yeah.
And
That being said, Sarri does like to work with the same players, and he has said that in the past. He hates transfers, he hates the whole transfer window element of football. So the fact that he has what he has might actually work in his favour.
Yeah, Sarri has always struck me as the sort of manager who hates everything about football that doesn't involve him being on a training pitch with his players.
Yeah.
Everything else is just,
Yeah.
stuff that he doesn't want to bother with.
yeah.
6th, 7th at best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just look behind Emmet and Dan here. The Inter shirt there. Now it's time to get the tissues out for some of the Inter supporters because we all know what happened last season at the end of it with the Champions League. They fell over on the final day of Serie A. They were going from 4 titoli to 0. Actually, we've got a good video about this If you go and check out our YouTube channel, we were there in Milan to cover that Champions League while they were away in Munich. But how are they looking? They've got a new coach. Christian Kivu's there. What are we to expect of what Inter will be? Are they in transition?
I think so. I think it's a combination of they're in transition and the fact that the scars of that massacre will take a couple of seasons to wear off, especially because a lot of that team remain. You don't get over a result that bad, that humiliating, that quickly. It takes time.
Inter fans, do you agree with what Emmet's saying? Dan, what about you?
I largely agree with Emmet. I think Inter's saving grace this season is that apart from Napoli, none of the rivals have really done anything to close the gap.
Yeah.
And Inter has still got a really good squad. I do wonder how big of an impact will Inzaghi's departure leave, because it seemed to come out of the blue, but then, after it was announced and, more details trickled through, and we learned that he'd been in talks to move to Saudi Arabia for a while. So I do wonder whether it could just be a case of, all you need is a steady hand like Kivu again, going back to what we were saying about Tudor. He knows the club inside out. He did okay at Parma last season, came in after the takeover from Pecchia, kept him up, which is exactly what he was tasked with. So I wonder whether the players are going to sort of be in a sort of mindset where they want to show Inzaghi that they're still good enough to win the league.
I think they've got a bit of desire in their belly. I think they would have gotten over the...
I do think that we probably seen for the time being the end of Inter making big signings. If you look at their signings this season, Luis Enrique, Boni, they're all future-proofing. They're not going to go out and compete with the likes of Barcelona, Real Madrid, PSG for signings.
Yeah, they're not going to spend that kind of money, crazy money. Emmett, what are you thinking of where Inter can go better this season? They didn't do too badly, let's be honest.
Yeah.
They had that issue with their crosstown cousins, Milan. They just couldn't beat them.
Yeah.
Is that something they can look at resolving this season?
I think they can, but I do think we won't see Inter go as far as they did last season. As you said, David, they lost the title on the last day. They lost the Champions League final. I don't think Inter will get anywhere as close this season. I do think it's a transition year. I think I put Christian Kivu down as the most under pressure manager in the league because he's relatively untested, apart from, as Dan said, a cup of coffee at Parma towards the end of last season. Now he's got the big job. It was unexpected because Inter were left scrambling after Inzaghi left. So I can see Inter making top four, just maybe out of muscle memory, but I can't see them actually challenging Napoli for the title.
I think they'll keep up in Serie A, but there'll be a big regression in Europe.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's Inter wrapped up. So let's go to our predictions for the Serie A season.
Before we go any further, you two accuse me of being a jinx, and I've been informed that between the three of us, only one person got the prediction for the top four right last season. Now, that was not you, and that was not him either. That was me. I just like this to be on record for listeners and viewers. Thank you. Carry on.
We'll be deleting that bit from the podcast. Thanks you. Thanks, Dan, for that update on the situation, because I had no idea.
Neither did I. Emmet pointed it out to me last week.
Okay, all right.
I wish
that was very
I wish I had
generous. Yeah, thanks for that. We've just now wasted 45 seconds of our podcast. But, well done, Dan, on that. Well done. We'll see if you can do it 2 years in a row, because we're going to get into those right now. Let's start with... We should work maybe backwards here. Name the surprise package.
I'm going to go Como.
I'm going to go Sassuolo.
I'm going to go Atalanta. They're a surprise package because everyone's expecting them to do what Napoli was supposed to do. But I think they're still good enough to compete. And I think they might finish in the top five. I think Atalanta... a top five, but we'll get to that in a moment. But they're my surprise package. It might not seem like they're a surprise package because they're traditionally a top half of the table side, but everyone's expecting them to be going down the standings. I think the surprise is they will remain. Relegation places.
Pisa, Cremonese, Lecce.
Yeah, I hate to sound like a copycat, but I'm going to go Lecce, Pisa, and Cremonese.
I'm going to say Verona is going to have a bit of a shocker. I'll say Pisa. And it's out of Lecce, Cremonese. I think Lecce might go down.
They've spent nothing, Lecce, and they struggled last year.
Nothing new there.
Yeah.
And they made lots of money. Manchester United went in for Dorgu. He's
Yeah.
been decent. I mean, come on. In the Premier League, he's been good. So, Coppa Italia.
Como.
You think that they're going to go out and go all the way and win it?
Yeah, and this is based on nothing but pure sort of just a sense. I feel I've got Fabregas came through Arsenal. He knows how important domestic cups could be. Like obviously the FA Cup has got a completely different profile than the Coppa Italia. But I just think they can't, as I said earlier, they are not going to win the league.
Well, to boost what you're saying, he did have that string of consecutive wins, which is what you need to win a cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, at the end of last season, so that could go with what Dan's saying. Emmet?
Fiorentina.
Fiorentina for the Coppa Italia. Wow, Fiorentina fans would be absolutely stoked with that. and I guess Moise Keane will be the guy to get them there.
Yeah,
Okay.
100%.
All right.
Actually, speaking of Keane, I'm a bit surprised that no one has come in for him this summer. You would have thought they'd be on the move, or at least be told.
They've got him under wraps, my friend, and they want to go places, Fiorentina, and at least maintain their situation, I think.
What happens first? Do Fiorentina win a trophy first, or do the Diggers get moved out to the Frankie?
Fiorentina will win the Coppa first.
Italy hosting a World Cup will probably come before that, but yeah. I'll go with Juventus. I think Juventus need to win something because they've been
Did I hear that right?
below par.
Did
No,
he-
I did this. I think the line was crackling. I don't know. Maybe.
Can you say that again?
I think Juventus have a history of getting
He's
results.
turning white as he says it.
They have a history of getting results any which way they need to. Juventini, you might be pumped with that. I don't know.
It's
Yeah.
a classic case of reverse psychology.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's move on. European places.
From
Top four?
Champions League or
I think we'll go UEFA and then we'll go up.
Okay.
So I guess we'll do 5th, 6th, 7th. We'll just do that.
Atalanta in no particular order. I say Atalanta. Okay, I'll give a particular order. Atalanta finished 5th. Roma finished 6th. Fiorentina 7th.
Okay.
I will go Roma 5th, Como 6th, and Atalanta 7th.
I'm going to say Atalanta 5th. I'll go.
Oh, hang on. You said they were going to move up in the table. If they finish 5th, they'd go down.
No, I'm just saying that they're staying up in that situation where they
Right.
can make a top
Okay.
4, perhaps. And it really depends on what they do in Europe because if they can push on or not. But I'll say Atalanta 5th. Thank you for the audit. I'll say Bologna 6th. I think they'll surprise people, and Roma 7th. But look, mix them up.
Yeah,
Shuffle
yeah,
the
I
deck.
agree, yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
And we're going to go 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Fourth. Juve, Inter, Milan.
In no particular order.
No, Juve 2nd,
Okay.
Inter 3rd, Milan 4th. I just think Allegri, Maxi will bring Milan back. Won't be pretty, like I said, but it'll be effective.
So Juve, Inter,
Milan.
and Milan. Okay.
I've got Inter, Milan, and Juve. But again, it's a case of, you throw them up in the air and see where they land. So
Okay.
Inter 2nd, Milan 3rd, Juventus 4th.
Okay. I think it'll be Milan 2nd.
Oh, bold.
I think it'll be Napoli 3rd. And I think it'll be Juventus 4th.
Whoa.
There's way too many obligations for Napoli this season. And
Yeah.
now Lukaku's out. We don't know what's going to happen with Lorenzo Luca, if they're going to sign someone else. And of course, this is before the transfer window
Yeah.
is closed. So we don't know what's going to happen. They could make 3 more signings. It could change everything like last season. Obviously, I think Inter will win. I think they've still got the strongest squad. And Inter fans will probably agree that they underperformed. Not that they underperformed on the pitch. It was just the results.
They came
We
up
all know.
short, yeah.
The 5-0 in the Champions League, take that away and just look at Serie A.
You think that 5-0?
They ran out of petrol.
Do you think that 5-0? Yeah. Do you think that 5-0 is a bit of a freak result?
Yeah, that's the
You
worst
replay-
ever loss in a
Yeah.
Champions League final.
in a
But
Champions League final.
I think you replay the game 100 times.
Yeah.
I mean,
Never.
Inter may lose 99 times out of 100, but they're not
It's
gonna
like
lose final,
it's
yeah.
like getting FIFA. You know, when you play on the PlayStation, you like get the computer just to mix up
Yeah.
the results, and sometimes you get like a 6-0 for whatever reason. It was one of those.
But I think part of the reason why they did get decimated was because they were so leggy.
They were
They have an
depressed.
old squad.
In
They're
depression.
old. That's the thing.
Couldn't
Yeah.
even kick the ball.
Yeah,
It was done.
But so when you get to the end game of this season, will they have the legs to push on and win the title? That's kind of what I'm thinking. Or will it be a repeat? The legs of
I think neither Inter, no Napoli, but Inter to a bigger extent. I don't think they're going to be taking Europe very seriously this season. Not that they're going to.
yeah.
Of course, they want to go as far as possible.
But they won't get
There's
to
a
the
burning
final.
desire, Dan. There's a burning desire in those players. They are winners. They're natural born winners. And even Christian Cavou, he's not tried and tested at this level, but he has finished his career at Inter. He's an Inter man through and through. I'm sure Interisti will agree here. Fair enough, he doesn't have that elite coaching degree. We'll see if he can, develop his own career at a big club now after what he's done at Parma. But he did coach, you'll probably scoff at this, the Inter under-14s, the 15s, the 16s, the 17s. He's been through the youth system there, the academy. He then kind of went over to Parma to get a chance to see if he could manage a senior team, and now he's back. So yes, big shoes to fill, Simone Inzaghi, but Chiavu is a company man coming back for that brand. He's kind of like a Romanian Zanetti, if you will, if you know what I mean. So he's been at Inter. He's never really left after his player days were over, and he's back. And I think Inter were drawn to him for that reason. He's been through their coaching. He's probably coached some of these players that are coming through now and ready to come into the setup. So he is the company man. I feel like if he can get it together, and with players like Lautaro Martinez, Marcus Thuram, I think Thuram might be top scorer in the league, and Napoli would take those two over their front two any day of the week. Every other team would. They have that. They still held on to Çalhanoğlu. They've still got their big defensive unit. Midfield is the best in the league. Debatable now, obviously, with Napoli reinforcing. But that's where I think Inter will push ahead. And I think they've got that hunger now to right the wrongs.
I think that Napoli win the league by a bigger margin than last season, but Antonio Conte is going to throw an almighty strop when they get knocked out of Europe, and he's going to complain about the fact that he doesn't have a big enough squad.
And it's going to be beautiful to watch. Emmet, how many points is the gap between first and second for you?
I would say 4 or 5.
4 or 5 points?
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't be massive. But again, I think Napoli have improved immensely this summer. But as Dan said, Antonio Conte does not do European football that well. So it'll be interesting to see. The sooner Napoli get knocked out, I think the better they'll do in the league. And I think they're good enough to win it. Because I think Inter, Milan, Juve, Atalanta have regressed.
I
and
think
Napoli have stronger.
I think apart from Napoli, and it doesn't bring me any pleasure to say, but I think apart from Napoli, everyone has regressed in Serie A this season.
Okay, I think Inter's stronger. I think they're much better off without Taremi and Arnautovic, and they've got Boni and Pio Esposito. They can develop him. And
those are definitely upgrades.
Yeah.
And that's what you need, goals to score. And of course, they've still got Sommer in goal. But we'll leave it there, I think. 2 say Napoli, 1 says Inter. If it so happens that way, well, we'll come back to this moment here, and there will be a different number on that for next season.
Told you it was a
It's reverse psychology.
All along,
Yeah.
you can see it
And-
in miles away.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll be the jinx this year for Juventus and Inter. Who knows? That would be a shame. But we'll leave it there. Let us know what you think in the comments. You can tear us apart if you want. Hopefully it's them two again. But yeah, let us know what you think on socials. And we're going to release a Serie B preview as well. That's coming next week. So make sure you tune in for that. And it is the return of Serie B this week. So get the DCTV app. We've got 3 live and exclusive games in over 50 countries. So make sure you tune in. We're going to be watching, and Dan's going to be on assignment. So where are you heading off to? Sassuolo?
You said Dan and looked at me.
Dan, well, you both look the same to me now. A blurred vision. You could have just pretended, but yeah. Emmet?
Sassuolo, Napoli, and then Como Lazio.
Thank you, Dan. And you're watching from the couch, right? Like I am.
I will be.
Okay, lovely. So we'll leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching.